Are you there, Sada?
Yes, I am here.
Sure. Okay, over to you, Dr. Sada Fakda.
Thank you.
Yes, we can see you.
Yes. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First of all, I would like to say congratulate to our organizing team for arrange such a nice event and first time this virtually park water and energy webinar, and thank you so much for inviting me to participate here.
Thank
And
you very much, Sada. Thank you very much.
first of all, let me introduce myself. I am Dr. Saida Sadaf Akbar, working in Hashmani's group of hospital as a microbiologist and infection control manager. Let's share my slides over here. Yes, sir.
Yes, please. Okay, fine.
Today my topic is waterborne diseases, sanitation and hygiene. And it's very important nowadays because we have to think about this, okay, what is the importance of water sanitation and hygiene, because drinking water is a major source of microbial pathogens in developing countries such as Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, and many countries. And waterborne diseases cause more than 2 million deaths and 4 million cases of diarrhea annually. And 9 out of 10 deaths are in children, are virtually all of the deaths are in developing countries. So it's the more important we know about what is the importance of clean water. And causes of water pollution is industrial, home, agriculture, like sewage from domestic household, different factories and commercial buildings. Sewage that is treated in water treatment plants and often disposed into the sea. And sewage can be more problematic when people flush chemicals and different pharmaceutical substances and different types of medicines down into the toilet. And dumping solid waste and littering by humans in river, lakes, oceans, and seas. And industrial waste, which is the most common way of the water pollution. And industrial waste from different factories which use fresh water to carry waste from the plant into rivers, contaminated waters with pollutants such as asbestos, lead, mercury, and different types of chemical. Oil pollution also caused by oil spills from tankers and oils from ship travel and contaminate all over the sea. These are the some major causes of polluted water. Disposal of waste. This is the major issue nowadays, not only in Pakistan but all over the world. This waste includes sewage, garbage, and liquid waste from factories and our homes. Wastage from chemical factories contain many types of different toxic and poisonous chemicals. These are discharged into river, and then people use this river water for drinking purpose and different types of household purposes. The river water become poisonous for fishes also and other aquatic animals and plants, and then human beings intake these fishes and different aquatic animals and plants. They got waterborne diseases. Chemical fertilizer and pesticides. Farmers use different types of fertilizer for growth and pesticides to kill insects that damage crops. But fertilizer and pesticides which are good for plants may be harmful to human beings and animals, because excess amount of fertilizer and pesticides always harm animals and humans. Many of these chemicals get dissolved in rainwater, which flows into the different ponds, canals, river and seas. And then village men and people use this contaminated drinking water. Disposal of human excreta and animal dung. The rain washes away human excreta and human dung into river, pond and lakes. You can see these pictures regularly in our villages. They, at least nowadays, even still they don't have any proper type of facilities to washroom, to use to use different types of latrines to dispose this fecal materials. Drinking this polluted water may cause several waterborne diseases such as diarrhea, dysentery, jaundice, typhoid, cholera, even polio. Polluted river water can cause disease to the whole population. Now, what is the importance of water quality? Safe water is a precondition for health and development and a basic human rights. This is the basic human right. They have to get pure drinking water and pure hygienic food. This is their basic rights. And water related diseases caused by insufficient safe water supplies coupled with poor sanitation and hygiene. We talk about potable water, contaminated water, but we have to know what is terms to be known. Potable water means clean water, and it is must to be free for all objectionable materials, including all pathogens, taste, odors, colors, toxins, any radioactive material, any type of microbiological pathogenic organisms, oils, gases, etc. And what does it mean in contaminated and polluted water? Water contaminated with sewage, domestic or any type of industrial waste with chemicals and pathogenic microorganisms. Okay, when we talk about waterborne diseases, so these are 4 types of waterborne diseases. First one is waterborne diseases, second one is water-wash diseases, third one is water-based diseases, and fourth one is water-related insect like vector-borne diseases. We will talk about individually. Waterborne diseases means diseases caused by ingestion of water, of any contaminated water by human or in animal fecal or urine samples which contain pathogenic microorganisms. Like this. Okay, we in this glass of water we have different type of water pollutant, like different type of microorganisms with different type of pollutant here. Infection in which the enteric microorganisms enter the water source through fecal contamination, and transmission occurs by the ingestion of contaminated water. And what is the route of transmission or waterborne transmission of infection depends on amount of fecal contamination in water. Okay, what is the amount? It is a low or many heavy amount of water. Concentration of pathogens in the fecal contamination, survival of the pathogenic organism in water, and ineffectivity of the organism. Okay, what is the life cycle of organism and what is the lifespan of this microorganisms, and individual health status. If individual or who is the drinking of this contaminated water is already ill, or he or she already have any bacterial infection or any other kind of infection or low immune system, so he or she can get many types of waterborne infection. And what is the control of waterborne infection? Improvement of microbiological water quality, water treatment or source protection. Okay, we have to improve of microbiological water quality. Okay, drinking water must be clean, should be clean from any improvement, any impurities of microbiological water treatment. And what is the example of waterborne infection like typhoid, cholera, different types of enteric diseases? Many bacteria, viruses, protozoa, and parasites can cause disease when ingested. The majority of these pathogens derived from humans or animal feces are transmitted through the fecal oral route. Both animal and human feces are threats to human health. Human feces are generally the most dangerous due to different type of pathogenic organisms. This is the list of waterborne pathogens which is orally transmitted from drinking water. Some kind of bacteria like Campylobacter, E. coli, Legionella, Salmonella, Shigella, Vibrio, Pseudomonas, and in protozoans we have Crypto and Amoeba histolytica, Giardia, Naegleria fluoride, Toxoplasma, and in viruses we have adenovirus, enteroviruses, hepatitis A, hepatitis E, poliovirus, rotavirus, and in helminths we have Dracunculus and Schistosoma species. These are all pathogenic organisms. They produce waterborne, different types of waterborne diseases. Diseases that are transmitted by water can be divided into diarrheal waterborne diseases and non-diarrheal waterborne diseases. And what does it mean in diarrheal waterborne disease? And mostly waterborne pathogens infect the gastrointestinal tract and cause diarrheal diseases. The most common cause of severe diarrhea are like rotavirus, pathogenic E. coli, and histolytica, Giardia, Crypto. These are all diarrheal waterborne diseases. And what does this mean? Epidemic diarrheal diseases like two diarrheal pathogens, Shigella and Vibrio cholera. They both are particularly infectious and cause severe epidemics. Epidemics diarrhea like both Shigelliasis and cholera can be triggered by natural disaster or political upheavals that disrupt the normal water supply. And what is the mean of non-diarrheal waterborne diseases? Because some organisms never produce diarrhea. Most waterborne pathogens cause diarrheal disease. A few important waterborne diseases like a typhoid fever. It caused by ingestion of Salmonella typhi bacteria in food or water and affects about 17 million people each year. And then hepatitis or liver inflammation is caused by viral infection. A and E are primarily caused by ingestion of or fecally contaminated drinking water. And hepatitis A causes about 1.5 million infections each year, and mostly in children. And just like a polio is a highly infectious viral disease that mainly affects children under 5. Poliovirus is primarily transmitted through the fecal oral route. Safe water and what is we can control or how we can eliminate the poliovirus by safe water and sanitation. These are the two major points, like we have to eliminate this poliovirus from our country, and we have to work on the safe water and sanitation techniques to help reduce risk of poliomyelitis. And then legionellosis can grow in water storage tanks, boilers, or pipes in distribution systems. So from different tank, boiler, or pipes, they can move to our glass of water. Just like a leptospirosis, it is a bacterial disease caused by ingestion or bodily contact with water contaminated with the urine of infected animals, especially rats. The disease is difficult to diagnose and is often overlooked, but may be important, especially following flooding. So this is also important bacteria. And then water wash diseases. Diseases caused by a poor personal hygiene and skin and eye contact with contaminated water. These diseases mainly occur due to poor personal and domestic hygiene and lack of readily accessible water sources. This permits transmission of infectious agents like such pathogens, Shigella, by limiting the washing of contaminated hands and utensils. The spread of disease is also facilitated by the lack of water for bathing and other hygienic personal care, thereby resulting in disease such as trachoma, conjunctivitis, and different types of scabies. 4 types of water wash diseases are considered here. First one is soil transmitted ailments, transmitted primarily through contact with contaminated soil, and our children is mostly affected from this soil contaminated ailments. The most prevalent ailments is ascariasis, Ascaris lumbricoides, hookworms like ankylostoma, nectar, trichoderus trichoma, which is called whipworm. Also, ailments cause about 12,000 deaths each year. Improve hygiene and sanitation. Basically, we have to work our pure safe water, our water hygiene and water sanitation for these kind of bacterial and protozoal diseases. Then acute respiratory infections. Acute respiratory infections, ARI, including pneumonia and responsible for approx 19% of total child deaths every year. There is an increasing body of evidence demonstrating that good hygiene practices, especially hand washing with soap, can significantly reduce the transmission of ARI, like different acute respiratory infections like COVID-19. COVID-19 is also an acute respiratory infection, and we have to wash our hands frequently to reduce the risk of infection. And then skin and eye diseases. Different pathogens are also included in our skin and eye diseases, and they can produce different types of eye diseases like trachoma. Trachoma is caused by the chlamydia bacteria which inflame the eye. The best control method for trachoma is improve access the water for face washing. We are using for our personal hygiene and our washing face and eye has to be pure and clean from different microorganisms or pathogens. Then ringworm. Ringworm is also another infectious disease of the skin, scalp or nails, and this is also from our waterborne disease. Water-based diseases. Water-based diseases means caused by the parasite found in intermediate organisms living in contaminated water. Like this. Here we can see the child is drinking water from the river, and here is the many organisms and many pathogenic organisms here, and they can drink this water. Water-based infections is the category the pathogen must spend a part of its life cycle in the aquatic environment. Transmission route, ingestion or contact with water. Example like dracunculiasis, ingestion of water contaminated with dracunculiasis. Schistosomiasis is transmitted by contact with water contaminated with the trematode genus Schistosoma. And what is the control of water-based infection? How can we prevent from these water-based infections? Protection of the water sources. Okay, we have to protect our water sources from these parasites, from these pathogenic organisms. limiting the skin contact with infected water and from infected any water resources. Eradication of intermediate host of these diseases. Like these are the draculaceae and schistosomiasis. Schistosomiasis infection is caused by the flatworm called schistosome, which spend part of their life cycle inside snail host. Like mm, in this previous slide, we have the eradication of intermediate host of these diseases. And what is the intermediate host of this schistosoma? Is a snail. And we have to control the production of this snails from the contaminated river or any contaminated of water resources or reservoir. People become infected through skin contact with infected water, mainly during fishing and agricultural activities. Dracunculiasis, guinea worm disease caused by the roundworm Dracunculiasis medinensis. Guinea worm larvae in water bodies are ingested by the cyclops water flea. Water flea is the intermediate host of this Dracunculiasis. People become infected by drinking water contaminated with cyclops. Because cyclops is the intermediate host. The larvae are released in the stomach, migrate through the intestinal wall, and grow to adult worms. When people eat cyclops, infected cyclops, the larvae enter into the human body, and then they migrate through the intestinal wall and grow themselves and become an adult worm, and then pass through the fecal samples. And then water-related diseases are caused by insect vectors, especially mosquitoes that breed or feed near contaminated water. Here are different types of water-related infections, and these are the water or vector-borne diseases. These infections are transmitted by different types of insects, vectors, which breed in water. These are different types of insects like mosquitoes, different types of fleas, which breed in water. Like mosquitoes causing many diseases like dengue, malaria, chikungunya, Japanese encephalitis, or insects bites near water resources like CC fly, sleeping sickness. And what is the control or how we can prevent from water related infections? Like vector destruction by the application of pesticides, destruction of breeding grounds, and construction of piped water supplies. These are the steps to control our water related infections. These days, water related infections or waterborne or we can say vector-borne diseases are not directly related to drinking water quality. However, consideration of vector control can reduce the potential of water-related disease transmission. The most common vector insects are mosquitoes and flies like malaria. They can produce malaria, yellow fever, dengue fever, filariasis. And these are the few common and favored breeding places site of Aedes aegypti, which can produce dengue. Like our we have different type of breeding places even at our home, in our garden. Like this is a picture of a tire and different types of tanks here. And dengue aegypti can breed here and grow themselves. What is the prevention of waterborne diseases? This is the very important. Okay, how we can prevent or how we can save ourselves for different types of waterborne diseases. First of all, we have to improve quality of drinking at source, at the tap or in the storage vessels. Okay, we have to improve different quality and quantity. Okay, different type. As we have seen in this presentation, okay, we have different types of impurities, different types of materials which can contaminate our sources of water. So at the tap or in the storage vessels. In storage vessels can be our river, our sea, any type of our storage vessels. So we have to improve quality. Interrupt routes of transmission by emptying accumulated water sources. Okay, we have to interrupt routes of transmission by emptying accumulated water resources and then chlorinated water. Chlorinate water is a very important to avoid organism like Naegleria fowleri. Naegleria fowleri is our pathogenic organisms, and our it is a protozoa which can grow in our any recreational water source or any kind of water, and we have to chlorinate our water reservoir to avoid any infection of Naegleria fowleri. And then change hygiene behavior like hand washing, because nowadays due to COVID-19 we are also giving different types of lectures and giving different types of seminars, our personal hygiene, our hygienic behavior like hand washing. But we have to consider this that we have pure and safe water for our hand washing. If we don't have the pure and clean water for our hand washing, we will get different types of microorganisms. Breastfeeding first 6 months of life. This is a very important, because our newborn children or babies is our drinking water is not suitable for them. But breastfeeding or breast milk, this is a good food or nutrition for them to avoid any type of microorganism or any type of contamination. Proper use of latrines. Unfortunately, still now we don't have any such kind of facilities or proper facilities in our village for this type of washroom and latrines, and people use different types of rivers and for this purpose. So we have to use proper use of washing areas and latrines there. Careful disposal of all waste products. All types of waste products like home waste products, our industrial waste products, and our crop waste products. These are very important. Careful disposal of all waste products. So and then proper maintenance of water supply, sanitation system, pumps and wells. Proper maintenance of water supply, sanitation systems and pumps and wells, because as I have already said, some microorganisms grow poor maintenance of water pipes and water supplies. So we have to avoid these microorganisms, and we have to proper maintenance of and proper management of these pump and wells. Good food hygiene: wash before eating, protect from flies. Good food hygiene means wash every food and wash every vegetables and fruits before eating. When we get from these foods and any types of fruits from our food vendors, there are lots of flies and lots of insects around there. So we have to proper clean these fruits and vegetables with proper and clean and hygiene water. Never use contaminated water to use any food, any type of food like meat, fruits, any type of foods. Improve immunization practice, especially rotavirus diseases. We have to improve our immunization system. We have to spread awareness, and that like rotavirus, polio virus, people have to immunize their children to eradicate these viruses, to prevent from these viruses to our children. Faster responses to emergent and dangerous pandemic strains of pathogenic infections. We have to sometimes we have sometimes we have different types of pandemics in our country or all over the country, like cholera pandemic. Sometimes we have this, so we have to respond very fast, and I think we can manage earlier to response and to eliminate these dangerous epidemic strains. And then health education programs across the country. This is very important. Like we have to aware our people, our villagers for health and hygienic and sanitation program. They are not very well aware of these types of health education programs. So we can do different types of seminars, different types of webinars, different types of we can do little projects from our for our villagers to educate them, to spread the awareness for them. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Sada, for your nice presentation and for your time. If anybody has any question, please feel free to ask. Only one person is saying that you have to send your presentation on his email. No? So have you seen that, Dr. Sada?
Please send this file and sure I will.
Chalo. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your nice time. Thank you. Bahut shukriya, Dr. Sada. Thank you. Okay.